From the Ventura County Office of Education, this is the Focus on Education podcast. And now, here's your host, Ventura County Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Cesar Morales.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Focus on Education. Our focus today is all about school libraries. In our digital age, the role of school libraries is changing, but in many ways, they're more important than ever. That's why I'm excited to have Ventura County's leading expert on school libraries joining me today. Ashlee Nishiya is the coordinator of library, media, reading, and literacy here at the Ventura County Office of Education. Ashlee, welcome.
Thank you so much.
So let's get started. What drew you to becoming a school librarian, and what was your path to get here?
Thank you for asking. I was always a book lover. I grew up in the library. When I was a little girl, my parents were separated, divorced, and I would, my mom was a single mom working, and we would basically go to the library and spend the whole afternoon in the summers, enjoy the AC, and just read. And so it was a really safe haven for me growing up, and I was drawn to books and reading. I knew I wanted to do something related to that, so I became a high school and middle school English teacher and did that for a long time before I went back to school to get my master's in library science, and then the rest is history.
Did you have experience as a school librarian at a school or district prior to coming to the Ventura County Office of Education?
Yeah, I sure did. I started out as a pre-K through fifth grade teacher librarian at a school in Texas. And from there, I moved back to California to be closer to my family because I'm from here. And I ended up in a public library for some time, which was a really great experience. And then I went back to schools because schools are my love, and I love working with students. And then I was a high school librarian, and then also moved down to elementary and middle school as well. So I kind of went all over the place, which was a really cool thing in preparation for my role here at VCOE, because I was able to get experience at all levels working with students from the very, very littles all the way through, high school and beyond.
Well, we're very fortunate to have someone like you with so much experience.
Thank you.
What do you do in your job as coordinator of library, media, reading, and literacy for VCOE?
I do quite a bit. A big portion of my job is working as librarian of record for many of our school districts and LEAs who don't have a certificated teacher librarian. I also run the library here at VCOE, the Learning Resource Display Center, and I do other initiatives working on literacy, creating series of PD for teachers and educators. I also do Battle of the Books, which is a super fun event, which I love, and a variety of other events and all things library and literacy related.
Well, that's awesome. You mentioned the Learning Resource Display Center. Can you let us know a little bit deeper what exactly that is?
Sure, I'd love to. The Learning Resource Display Center is also known as the LRDC, and there are a handful of these special type of libraries across the state. We contract with the California Department of Education, and we have a library of instructional materials that are available for educators and for the community to review for a variety of purposes. Often it's mostly when districts are doing textbook adoption. It gives them an opportunity to really look at all of the state adopted materials for grades K through 8. But also community members can come in and look at the instructional materials that their local school district may be using or have adopted. And we also have a small professional library as well.
What role do you play for schools that don't have professional librarians on staff?
That's an excellent question. I think a lot of people in California don't realize that there's not always a certificated teacher librarian on staff, and part of Ed Code allows districts to contract with the County Office of Education, and we provide librarian of record services, which looks different for each of our school districts. We really meet their needs. So for some of our larger school districts, it looks like providing professional development for the library staff, providing resources for both the library staff, teachers, and students. It also looks like training new library staff. But for some of our smaller school districts, I even go in and do lessons on information literacy, research, work, citations, all of those things as well for our students as well. And that's a lot of fun because I get to work one-on-one with the kids. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's great to hear you're out and working with students and in our schools throughout the county. Why is there such a shortage of library professionals in our schools?
I think that's another great question. It is, I believe, due to budget cuts right after the Great Recession in the state of California. Unfortunately, one of the spaces that really got hit at that time was not just the school library and the funding for books and things like that, but also the funding for certificated teacher librarians. And I think that's part of the reason that we have fewer I believe the last data that we had from the CDE school library survey, which is a requirement that each district report on their school libraries each year. I think there was something like less than 10% of the California schools had certificated teacher librarians. And I think it's really important for students and staff to have access to those professional library services.
Thank you. What do you see as the most important functions of school libraries in today's world?
Well, that is a perfect segue from what I was just saying, because I believe school libraries are, in many ways, one of the most important elements on a campus, because if we want students to be literate and to love reading, we really need to have as a space where they have access to a number of high quality, high interest, exciting books and information sources. And so for one, it's providing access to those reading materials, but for two, having access to a certificated teacher librarian also improves student achievement scores. And I believe that one reason that it's very important is, with the shortage of certificated teacher librarians on staff, we also see so much mis and disinformation that's being spread. And many students don't have that certificated person who has not just the knowledge and expertise, but also the dedicated time to focus on media literacy. Many other, teachers will try and fit it in with their curriculum, but they have so much more that they're trying to cover that it doesn't really get the time and attention it deserves. So I believe it's incredibly important for students to have access not only to the resources in the books, but also to just the lessons and ability to learn about how to be a critical thinker when it comes to consuming media.
Yeah, you mentioned media literacy, and media literacy is becoming more and more important, especially with the growth of artificial intelligence. What are we doing to help students navigate that modern media landscape?
Well, VCOE, we have a fantastic Google site that we put together for Media Literacy Week. Our instructional technology department and our library service department work together on providing a number of resources for media literacy. We have that. And then we also try and get out in the schools and to teach teachers about how to navigate that landscape of AI and just media, to really teach students and staff how to just be very mindful about the information that they're consuming and looking at it not just in the traditional ways we used to teach media literacy, but also, students are now, looking at a phone more than they're looking at a computer screen. So making sure that we're teaching them to understand how AI works and how mis and disinformation work, not just when they're, on the internet and doing research, but also when they're on the apps that they're consuming the most, like TikTok and things like that.
Shifting gears, this school year, we're excited to launch a new bookmobile that's just for schools. How's it going to be used?
Well, I'm super excited about that project. It's a really new partnership between VCOE and Ventura County Library, and it's a fantastic collaboration because Ventura County Library has a huge system and they have so many fantastic books available, and we have the students, but we might not have the money for all the best, most exciting new books for the students. So it's bringing together the resources and the kids, and so the school bookmobile is an actual bookmobile where we'll be driving it out to campuses. The collection has been curated with students and curriculum in mind, and the Ventura County Library system will provide staff to check books in and out to make sure that all the students have access to those books, and then I'll be able to push in and provide lessons for information literacy, media literacy in the classroom at the same time. So it's a really beautiful combination of those two organizations.
Oh, that's great. And what a great partnership.
Yeah.
We're so fortunate to have good partnerships throughout the county, and this is one of them with the Ventura County Library System. You're the host of one of the most popular new student competitions, the Battle of the Books. What can you tell us about the Battle of the Books?
The Battle of the Books is my favorite event. It's so much fun. The main goal of Battle of the Books, even though it has the word battle in it, it's all about supporting reading literacy, getting kids to read great books and having a lot of fun doing so. So we provide a list of a curated book list of approximately 20 books. We have the Battle of the Books event is, we have a grade span for grades 3 through 5. And then we have a grade 6 through 8 version of the event. And we're super excited to announce our inaugural Batalla de los Libros this year. So we're going to be also offering it in Spanish. And ultimately, students read all of the books on the list. They develop a team, and then they come to VCOE to participate in a very friendly, non-competitive trivia style competition. For me, it's all about fun. Like, once they've gotten a chance to read all those books, like, that is the prize in and of itself. But once they get here, I want it to be a book party and a celebration of their accomplishment. And yes, there will be a winner, and yes, there will be some bragging rights and a plaque. But most importantly, they've read the book, so they're all winners.
And students get to hear some jokes from you too at the beginning of that event.
Yes, I do have some jokes in my back pocket for my students, just to try and warm them up, ease them into the vibe. I want to make sure it's a lot of fun, so I start with jokes. I also force them to dance during the breaks, and we also just try and have a lot of fun overall.
Well, it's definitely a very fun event, and I don't know who enjoys the jokes more, the students or me. But thank you for doing that. In bringing so much enthusiasm across the county with the Battle of the Books and this year's upcoming Batalla de los Libros. I'm very excited about that.
So exciting. And thank you for not asking me to tell one of the jokes here now, because I don't think I'd be able to remember one.
No, I want folks to stay tuned and then come and visit.
Yes.
And see it live.
Yes, perfect.
You recently coordinated a wonderful event called Librarian Literacy Day. Can you tell us more about it?
I would love to. So that also was a fantastic event. It is a day of learning for library staff, teacher librarians, educators, and really anyone interested in libraries and literacy. And it's essentially a mini conference that we hosted here at VCOE. We had a keynote speaker who is an innovator in media literacy, who taught our educators some really interesting ways to look at teaching media literacy. But we also collaborated with some other associations, and it really up-leveled the event. We collaborated with the California School Library Association, and they were able to provide authors to come. So we had 3 different authors come and speak about their writing process. And then we had breakout sessions on everything from AI and technology to the best books for middle school and young adult / high school students. It was just really a great day of learning, networking, fun, and we also partnered with our county offices of education across the state. So we had amazing presenters. It was just a really great event.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
More than anything, Ashlee, thank you for bringing so much enthusiasm about libraries in general, and definitely being a valuable resource for our entire public school education ecosystem, and providing valuable resources for our library professionals as they create these optimal reading and resource spaces for our students here in Ventura County. Thank you very much for being a guest on our podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Dr. Morales.
Thank you, everyone, for listening and watching. We'll see you next time.
Focus on Education is a production of the Ventura County Office of Education. We encourage you to subscribe and join us each month for new episodes. You can find Focus on Education wherever you get your podcasts or at vcoe.org/podcast. We also welcome your feedback. You can email us at communications@vcoe.org.